to its economic
Man, y'all gotta go check this out. Come on now.
foreign policies,
Because we finna learn
simply the
today.
continuation of an old
So
script,
white
a
people,
script that has played out again and again.
white people don't know their history.
Always leading to exploitation.
We thought we was the only ones
always leading to
deceived
misery.
about our history.
And this is why in America history isn't taught. Fiction is taught. Legends are taught. Myths are taught, but not history. Because real history would be dangerous. Real history would break the illusion and potentially break the cycle. So-called white people in America know a version of history. They know a story. They know a narrative that has been carefully crafted to shape how they see themselves, how they see their ancestors, how they see their nations and their place in the world, and how they see everyone else. And this ignorance, this deliberate miseducation that they have imposed upon their own people allows the same crimes to continue. What most white people in America and Europe believe about their history is not history at all. It's mythology designed to produce a specific kind of person, a person who does not feel guilty, a person who does not feel accountable, a person who does not feel responsible for ever changing anything because they don't think they're doing anything wrong. They're taught that their ancestors were pioneers, their ancestors were explorers and builders of civilization, that they brought progress and democracy and enlightenment to the world. They hear about the Renaissance, they hear about the Industrial Revolution, they hear about the Age of Discovery, and so forth and so on.
Hey, God is good.
Not about enslavement, not about genocide, not about the theft, not about the destruction that their people are responsible for.
Here come y'all wake up. What they call them? Gentile, Edomites, Esau's? Here come y'all wake up call. Y'all finna find out how duped y'all been duped and lied to.
Sense of national identity are all rooted in exploitation. They don't know about the crimes.
They only know how to exploit.
They don't know the real legacy of their people. And so they don't change. They don't have to change.
Damn.
Because they don't even realize what they need to correct. You know, when we look at colonialism, for example, the history that's taught in Western schools
Here come them colonizers.
Colonization is framed as something that it just sort of happened a long time ago, you know? Something that was maybe unfortunate, but it was inevitable, and it ultimately was...
Y'all go check this video out that the brother is sharing.
Never mind the millions of Africans who died in the Congo.
Right there.
In the Congo Free State under...
Boom, boom, boom. Thumbs it up.
White Americans.
It's time for white Americans to wake up.
Never mind the Bengal famine.
Y'all are not the gold. Y'all are not the chosen ones.
The fact that the American police forces evolved from slave patrols, they don't know about that either. And then I think more important about the ongoing.
Now y'all finna see how y'all don't keep God's commandments and you don't love your brothers like you should your sisters. Let's go. Come on, Israel. Wake up.
These aren't relics of history.
Wake up.
That's the present day reality of what your people are doing. But the story that that white people are told does not include those realities, or else it packages those realities deceitfully and dishonestly. They packaged them dishonestly and deceitfully in the past, just like they do now. The irony is that when they're confronted with the truth, many of these people will react defensively. You know, I didn't do that. That was in the past. Why should I feel guilty? But this reaction, in and of itself,
that's what they say,
reveals how little they're really understanding. It's not about guilt. It's about responsibility. You know, if a person inherits a stolen house, they may not have stolen it themselves, but they still live in it.
That's right.
If they refuse to acknowledge where that house came from or how it came into their possession, if they insist that that house is rightfully theirs because the crime happened a long time ago, well, then they're complicit because the theft is ongoing. The crime never really stopped. So when people don't know their history, they cannot recognize when history is repeating itself. History is actually a continuum into the present.
Become a letter to the white people.
White people in America can watch their government arm and support genocide in Gaza, bomb Syria, Iraq, Yemen, and so on, and actually believe when they say it's for the purpose of security. They don't see the colonial mindset at work. That's why they can see corporations, for example, Western corporations, strip mine Africa for resources and not connect that to the centuries of plunder that came before. This is why they can hear about mass incarceration, about police brutality and systemic racism in the United States, and not understand that these are not new problems. These are just new forms of an old system. These are new manifestations of the same system. And this is why they don't resist.
They had that form of godliness,
the structures
that now the
that continue to exploit and continue to oppress. Because they don't even recognize those systems as continuations of the age-old exploitation and oppression. The truth is, white people have been colonized too. Not physically, not economically, but
y'all need to learn your history.
They've been conditioned to believe in a history that never happened.
Never happened. It never went that way.
The heroes. A history where they were never the villains, and where their victims were villains. And as long as they live inside that fiction, well, they'll continue to perpetuate the same crimes of their past, even without realizing it. Which just means that we're not even talking about past crimes. We're talking about ongoing crimes
to this present day.
Today. Like I said, it's a continuum. If there's ever going to be any real change, if there's ever going to be any hope for justice, then so-called white people have to actually learn your history. Not the history that makes you feel proud and makes you feel good, that makes you feel comfortable.
And Confederate.
The history that makes you uncomfortable. The history that you've denied all this time. And only when white people know their real history, really know it, then maybe they can begin to take the first steps towards repairing the damage that that history caused. The damage that it caused to millions upon millions of people all around the world, including themselves. I mean, Americans, particularly so-called white Americans, you're all like the child of the BTK killer.
Damn.
Trying to come to terms with the fact that you were raised by a monster.
Damn.
Who you always thought
monster
was a good
children.
And upright man. If Americans in general really understood their history, well, they would know that the United States government has only ever used fear as a weapon against them. And every war that America has ever been involved in was only justified by lies. And every act of